Hello, Wellspring. Our verse tonight is John 19:30. When Jesus had received the sour wine, he said, "It is finished," and he bowed his head and gave up his spirit. The scriptures say that Jesus was offered wine 2 times during his crucifixion. The first offering you can read about in Mark 15:23. And they offered him wine mixed with myrrh, but he did not take it. The second offering was here in John right before Jesus' death. David Mathis, who is a senior teacher at Desiring God, says this about the 2 wines. So the first wine, mixed with myrrh, was designed to dull Jesus' pain to keep him from having to endure the cross with full consciousness. This wine he refused. The second, sour wine, was given to keep him conscious for as long as possible and thus have the effect of prolonging his pain. This is the wine Jesus drank. Other condemned criminals would have taken the first to ease their torment and passed on the second so as not to prolong their horrific pain. But Jesus would take no shortcuts on the way to our redemption. The king of the world was still in control even though his body was weak. His lips and throat were parched from the hours of torture he had endured. He needed to wet them and give his body one last drink to declare to God and to all who were nearby, "It is finished." Jesus' death was the fulfillment of thousands of years of prophecy that had proclaimed salvation for all who believe. His declaration was a closing of a transaction. The full payment for the sins of the human race had been paid. He then bowed his head and sovereignly relinquished his spirit. His body was dead, but his spirit was not. His spirit would come back to sovereignly raise his body from the dead, just as he will do for us. First, let's take a minute to solemnly thank God for not only being willing to take payment from someone else for our sins, but also for providing the payment. Second, let's thank Jesus and rejoice for the payment that he made on our behalf. Last, think of someone that you know that you believe doesn't know Jesus. Take a minute to tell your family who you're praying for and ask God to reveal himself to them in a miraculous way, that they would believe that Christ died for their sins and rose from the dead.